Hey Harmon Homestead, we're reaching out to you because you have really inspired us on YouTube. We watch your videos and we are a young couple. Like you, we are trying to grow our own food in our backyard and we are considering getting a flock of chickens. Do you have any tips, tricks, or hints on how to make money homesteading? We don't seem to be able to get ahead, and while this is not our full-time jobs, we would like to begin homesteading full-time and earn an income. Thanks so much for your answer, subscriber. Hey y'all, welcome back to Harmon Homestead. I'm out here at the garden and I want to answer the question that I just read to you, okay? That was sent to us by a subscriber. I'm not gonna say names, location, anything like that, but I do want to answer the question, okay? How to make money on a homestead. Just because so many people are interested in this right now, it doesn't mean that this is a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? It's not. It's not. I told y'all when I started this channel, I wanted to show you realistic things and show you how to do things that no one else showed us or we couldn't find on YouTube, okay? And how to be successful. And I especially want to target our age audience, okay? And that's why I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is, guys, it's going to be tough to make any money at all, okay? It's going to be really, really, really tough. So I'm going to talk about chickens and I'm going to talk about gardening. That's the two things that I know about, backwards and forwards. I do not know about cattle. I don't know about other stuff. So I'm going to talk about those two things. And usually those two things are how people start out, okay? Let's start out with chickens. You want to make money with chickens. Guys, I could sit here and talk to you for hours on this subject. Let's think about the stuff you're going to have. If you want chickens, you're going to have a coop. I've done a video on prefabricated coops. Listen to me. Go build a coop. That's going to be several $100s. You've got to have everything from nails to screws to door latches to wire to lumber to whatever. A coop and a run. You're going to need that. Then you're going to have to buy your flock. Let's just say you start out with adult chickens, okay? All right, you've got some laying hens. You're going to have feed. Most people will want to get a feeder. You can just put feed down on the ground, that's fine too. A waterer. You're going to need to have shavings to go in the nest boxes. You're going to have to take care of this flock. Now you can free range this flock and that's fine, and that will help with your feed bill, but you may lose some of your flock to chicken hawks, coyotes, possums, raccoons, whatever, neighborhood dogs. That's gonna be the main thing. There's so many things, okay? Well, just say all's going good. You've got your coop, you've spent hundreds of dollars on this, you've got it set up, and now you like this certain breed of chicken over here and you've seen it, so you want to go out and get some chicks. That's probably how it's going to go. So you'll see this at the feed store, either get a book and buy them from a hatchery. All will go well. Those babies will need a brooder. A brooder can be anything from a plastic tub for a week or two, then you need more of a permanent structure to keep them in, sheltered. They really don't need to be out in the elements for a while, okay, at least 6 weeks or 5 weeks. Then they can't go in that big pen with the other chickens. They have to be separate until they can all be about the same size and fend for themselves, okay? So now you've got 2 structures you're going to have to build. Really 3. You've got a brooder, and like I said, it can be a Rubbermaid box, but then you're going to have more of a wooden brooder structure. Then you're going to have an area to keep them in, and then you're going to have your regular coop, okay? You're going to have chick starter. Baby chicks don't eat 11-way chicken scratch like the adults do, regular chicken feed. So now you've got 2 separate sacks of feed you're buying, and the babies are going to need feeders, waters, all this. It starts adding up. Well, say it all went well. All went really well. And I'm just going to name 2 chicken breeds here. Just say you've got a blue egg laying chicken like an Americana, and you've got a dark egg laying chicken like a French black copper Moran. Well, you've got those 2, okay? You've been learning and researching, and you want to have olive eggers because you saw that they can breed and give you a beautiful army green colored egg. Okay? How are you going to start this? First thing you're going to do is you're going to need either a broody hen, which in our experience is not very reliable, okay? Or is your breed's broody, where they will sit and hatch eggs for you. You're not going to find that and have that in a lot of these larger breeds. So what you're probably going to have to do is get an incubator. That's more money. You're talking several $100s, $100 all the way up. Then once you hatch these eggs, you're going to have an egg candler and all that, unless it's built into your incubator. You're going to want to follow along. Then you're going to need the brooder that you've already used. So you've got that kind of set up, but you're going to need a heat source for these chicks, okay? Just like before, when you bought the chicks, you're going to need a heat lamp, heat plate, something, the shavings, the feed. So now you've got feed for these new babies, feed for the grow outs, and 11 way for the other ones. And that's the cycle of just getting it started, okay? Just getting it started. It goes over and over and over. Most people start out with a flock and then they start hatching their own eggs. That's how it goes, okay? Lots of money. You're talking right there, without feed included, you're looking at $1,000 right off the bat. Guys, I'm telling you realistically how this goes, okay? So you've got all that done. You've got all these shelters in place. You've got these areas. You've got all that stuff. Say you want to sell eating eggs, hatching eggs, and you want to sell chicks. Okay. If you're wanting to be a money-making farm homestead, your state's going to have rules and regulations on how you sell this stuff and what you sell. That's like hatching eggs. You've got to keep track with this stuff. Or eating eggs. Eating eggs is a food product. Does your county or state have rules against how, or for how you sell that? Or there's a lot of stuff. And then you're going to have tax. So if you're going down that route and wanting to start a commercial homestead, okay? And then this is the best thing here. Just say you incubate and you're great at incubating and you incubate, okay? You've got all these chicks everywhere. And people's reached out to you and said, yeah, I want 8 of these and 6 of those and 7 of these and 15 of these. Okay. You've went through all this work. You've got them hatched out. People will back out the day that they're supposed to get them. That's every business, okay? People will tell you they want all this stuff, and then they'll say, no, I've changed my mind, or I'm sorry, we really just can't do this right now. After the fact, after they're already hatched, you've got this, so now what are you going to do? Livestock, y'all, is a money pit. It's a money pit. It's a good thing to have. I would trade nothing for my chickens, but it's a money pit. My advice to you is, if you're wanting to make money with chickens, you need to think long and hard before you get any chickens. You're going to see cute little fuzzy chicks at the feed store or wherever, and you're going to want to bring those home, okay? It doesn't matter what breed they are or anything else. Don't do that, okay? Research this stuff. Listen to videos about chickens, watch videos, read articles, get in backyard chicken groups, anything you can, okay, to learn and see all this, because when I got into chickens, I didn't know stuff like silkies existed, okay, or these colored egg layers. I'd never seen an army green egg. I just thought they were brown, white, or maybe some blue eggs every now and then, but I didn't know that it was this common and this obtainable to get this kind of stuff. I would get a breed that I really liked and that was durable, okay? I would look for something that was pretty, that I enjoyed, okay? That was very sustainable, something just for you, okay? That you really liked. Then I would get something that was just run-of-the-mill, like Rhode Island Reds, that everybody knows has a good name, a good reputation. I would get something like that, even if you didn't care for them that much. I would get them because people will want a tried and true name. They will pick something like a Rhode Island Red or a Barred Rock or a Golden Comet before they'll pick something like a Star Spangled Spitzenhauben or whatever. You know, they will pick this type, regular old chicken breed, okay? Buffalo, Orpington, something like that. Then last, I would get something that's totally off the wall that a lot of people don't have. That way, you've got it made, okay? Because, guys, chickens, if everybody on your road has Rhode Island Reds, you're not going to do that well with Rhode Island Reds. It's just not going to be. You need a variety, okay, to do well. Our silkies have been wonderful. You need to see what people have in your area. Getting like these chicken groups in your counties, your areas, see what they post all the time or what they are trying to sell off of their commercial farm. See what they have. And if you can run up on something that they don't have, you might want to get that, okay? But now here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. You want to be unique. That way everybody will want to come to you to get it. But here's the problem. Say Billy Joe and Bobby Jean down the road want your silkies, okay? Yep, they got them. You were the only person around with silkies. Well, now Billy Joe and Bobby Jean's got them. And they're probably going to start hatching too. So now you're creating your own competition. That is really something to think about, okay? So my advice would be get those 3 breeds, something you really liked and was pretty and durable, something you enjoyed, something regular and something totally niche and off the wall. Then in the next year or two, probably need to start with all new breeds. Keep it rotating. That way people will want to come to you, okay? Yeah, that to me is the best way to do it, because if you just say you sell Americanas, blue egg laying chickens over and over and over, that might be your thing and stick with it, but you may want to rotate one of your other 2 flocks, because now everybody on the block is going to have blue egg laying chickens and you can't get rid of them because everybody's already got them. You want to have something that they don't have, okay? That's to me personally, if you're going to have a commercial farm or homestead. It's a lot of money. There's feed continuously, there's care, and then your time. This is something else. Now eggs are $2 or less, $1.75 at our local store. Now I will say, during the egg crisis and eggs were so expensive, we actually, just from our feed and as many eggs as we were getting and using, we were in the total like good side of money, as far as we were coming out ahead. As many eggs as we were getting, and we use every single egg. But now that feed's still up, eggs have come way down. We've got all these eggs, we're using them, but our eggs are costing a lot for us to eat every day. They really are. And people in these hard times are not going to go pay you $8 a carton of eggs. Not many. Not in rural Alabama, they're not. They might other places. And if you can find a good buyer, if you're selling stuff like that, that's great. But guys, not in hard times. They'll go to the store and pay $1 for a carton. They're just not going to do it, okay? You can't blame them, really. I mean, the quality is totally different. But hard times are hard times. So animals, y'all, it's tough. It's tough. And we're not even talking about if the animals get sick and having to get medicine or something happens. I'm not even breaching that subject. Think long and hard before you get animals, okay? Feeders, waters, shelter, flock, incubators, heat plates. Stuff goes wrong, have to buy more. Continuous. Okay, so now let's flip over to vegetable gardening. I'm gonna kind of give you just the highlights, okay? I think everyone ought to grow in their backyard. That's just me. I think you ought to have that in addition to something else. I just think you do, okay? Because most of our food has come from right back here. I don't think that it's sustainable to grow in something like a mop bucket, okay? But I've done videos on that, and that got me into being able to do all this. So it's a good place to start. I would get a sure enough raised bed, or either make an in-ground garden bed in your backyard. But I think you need to be able to control it right there in your yard, okay? You got to buy lumber to put it up. You want a pretty good sized bed, like at least 20 by 30, our one raised bed's 20 by 30, and this one is 10 by 20. And we've got them side by side. So at least 20 by 30. Got the lumber, got it built. Now you're gonna have to fill it up. We live out in the country. People have bulldozers and excavators and everything else. So we got topsoil, okay? If you don't have that luxury, you're gonna have to get stuff like potting mix. Do you know how much potting mix it takes to fill up a 20 by 30 bed? A lot. But you've spent that money, and to me, that it's an investment up front, but it'll last, at least for a long time, okay? So now you're gonna wanna grow stuff. Guys, grow the basics. Grow the basics, learn, always grow something to pique your interest, but just say you're trying to make money off selling vegetables. First of all, you're going to have to know how to grow before you can have a harvest, okay? So just get out here, plant the basics, learn what you're doing. It's going to take several years to understand what you're doing, or several seasons. Then you may have it made. Just say you want pole beans. You're going to have a trellis. We use a cattle panel. That's money. There's stakes that go into the ground to hold the cattle panel. That's money. Tomato cages. Are you going to build your own? I did a video on that, the concrete reinforcement wire. Or what are you going to put around these plants, okay? You're going to have tools like a shovel, a hoe, you know, pruners. That's a bug, okay? If you get cheap ones. You're going to need a tiller, really, unless you do straight potting mix. That's an investment, okay? So you got all that, and you go and buy your tomato transplants. This year, I think they were pushing $6 a piece, $5-6. I mean, for a container. That's ridiculous. And you see all these seed packets over here at the store this fall. You say, I want to try that. Well, then you're going to have to be able to grow your own seeds and your own transplants to be able to put these out in the garden. You're going to need something to start them in, like a cup or seed starting trays or something. Then you're going to need shelves to put these on. You're going to need a light source. You're going to have to buy grow lights if you don't have a huge window with a light source, and or you're going to look into getting a greenhouse. That was the biggest waste we ever had, a plastic greenhouse. I do just fine growing plants in my dining room. I'm serious. Compared to that, the greenhouse, I don't even use it. That's more money. Then you're going to have to take care of it. Water, that's okay. That's just a little bit. You get them hardened off. They're ready to plant. You put them in the ground. They're doing good. Then you get your harvest, okay? You eat fresh, you like it, and then next year you want to expand. That's usually how it goes. So this is what I'm going to tell you. You're going to need fertilizer if you choose to do that. I would say of some kind, you're going to need that. You're going to have to water it. And then, especially if you're planting out like in a pasture, actual, like for real farming, you're going to have to battle the weather. And you're going to have 50-mile-an-hour winds come in with a thunderstorm or a hurricane, blow everything you've got over. Then you're going to have predators. Right when your corn's ready, raccoons will get in it. Or deer will eat everything you have. Unless you go out and buy an electric fence. That's money. You can have livestock guardian dogs, but you know, can they keep them all away? Then you're going to have to go buy the dog. You know, I mean, it's and feed for the dog. Guys, it's continuous. It's continuous the amount of money it takes. But let me tell you, so now I'm going to tell you the positive things about this, okay? You need to get a name for yourself. Whatever you're trying to do, just say soap making or whatever. You're going to have to spend money up front, okay? You're going to have to. But after a while, you'll get a name for yourself in your community, especially if you live out. And people will come to you. They'll see what you're growing, your produce. You need to advertise yourself. If you're a commercial farm, you need to say, hey, look at all the tomatoes we harvested today. You may get looped in with a farmer's market, something like that. If you grow plants that produce a continuous harvest, like tomatoes, if you can keep the disease off of them and you can keep them going, a speck of seed may cost like a penny in a pack if you get it for the right price, or even really less than a penny per seed, or however, you know, it may be. 5 cents, 10 cents, and I did see the price of seed was doubling this fall is what I heard. I don't know. Go check that out. In fact, I've already ordered some seed. If you can keep your harvest going continuously and have just a productive crop, you've come out ahead, okay? Once you get everything established, you've come out ahead, okay? You can keep picking tomatoes. You can keep getting this stuff. But guys, where you really come out ahead is there's no, I don't know how to tell you to make money on a homestead because we don't. But what I can tell you is this. It is a lot of money. And there's things I hadn't even thought about. There's so much to tell you. Just like fencing, we had to spend money on all this to put it up around this to keep our free-ranging, lower our feed bill chickens from getting in the garden. There's a continuous expense. But guys, you may not be making money on your homestead. I would not start out with that intention to make money. What I would start out with is in doing what I enjoyed, living the simple life, seeing that I wanted to get to this purpose, enjoying this hobby, and then, guys, when you get your harvest, you know what you're doing, you're building knowledge over time, your bills start trending down, okay? My grocery bill trends down the more that I grow. This will keep me through the winter, okay, with just say salsa or diced tomatoes. I won't have to buy that this winter. Okra. I won't have to buy fried okra or, pre-braided okra to fry. I won't have to buy this stuff because I'm growing it. And the price of the seed was so cheap compared to the amount of harvest that we're getting. I would not think it would be wise to grow a certain amount of food if you're doing this a small scale homestead in your backyard. Don't sell everything you've got and not have much for yourself. You need to put this stuff up for yourself first. That's the whole point. It's homesteading, not home making money. It's homesteading, being sufficient here and having your own stock of goods and your own livestock, okay? That's what this is about. You're whittling down the expense because you're becoming sufficient over time. That's how, it's not making money, but it's saving money, okay? That's how we look at it. And a lot of this stuff you do an initial investment in, like a chicken coop, but it'll be there for kingdom come if it's well built. That's what, for a long time, if it was done right. And you can continuously have chickens in that, okay? If, the gardening, to me, is the best way to go, the gardening, because once you get it up and once you get everything in it, the only thing you're going to need is water and fertilizer. Raised bed, just like I've got set up, something huge in your backyard or either an in-ground garden bed in your backyard you can keep the deer out of, you can keep predators away from. You will lower your grocery bill, okay? And plant things that will lower your grocery bill, like squash. Eat that as a side. Chop it up, put it in the freezer, and eat that as a side one night. We did last night. Can your green tomatoes to fry them. That's a side. Don't do everything just salsa, okay? Don't do everything just something ornamental. You want the bulk of your stuff to be food, okay? That way you don't have a grocery bill. Now, if you've got just a surplus and you've got a good name and people are coming to you wanting to buy your produce, you might make a little money if you're doing a the money-making commercial route. But it's going to be hard no matter what you do. If you're trying to garden and you're trying to sell it from doing that, your biggest enemy is going to be pests, predators, and the weather. It's hard. It's hard. It's just as hard as chickens. There's nothing simple about this lifestyle. It's so much easier to go punch a 9 to 5. There's no easy way to make money. This was not intended to make money. This was intended for people out in the country to live off of the land, not live off of a paycheck from their land. That's how this was started. People had to. They had to grow their own food. A lot of this was not available at the store. There wasn't a store where you could just go in and buy a prepackaged salad. This didn't even exist. This was the normal. This is a way of life, not a money-making scheme, okay? You're not going to be rich off planting 500 feet of corn. People out in the Midwest and all, they're planting, y'all. They're doing this commercially. You're not going to be able to do, and it's probably real hard for them too, okay? You're not going to be able to be rich off a backyard garden bed. You're not. But your pantry will be rich and full. and you'll spend less over time, okay? And the less you spend on your grocery bill kind of outweighs what you're spending on feed for chicken. So it's all gonna kind of even out at the end, okay? That's just me. That's just my opinion. I think it's wonderful. Never will change this lifestyle, okay, unless I'm just forced to. But it's not a money-making scheme, okay? And so many people, they ask, where do we start out? What do we do? I'm telling you, start small. I would start gardening first, really giving it your all, learning everything you can. See if you have time for animals after gardening. Because, guys, the gardening will give you food on the shelf, and it will give you a continuous crop in a lot of things that you plant. Animals will not. Everybody wants animals. Really think about this, okay? Really think about it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to coming to the channel. We are Harmon Homestead. Follow along. We got a lot coming to you guys, and we're here. Okay, we'll see you next time on Harmon Homestead.